The start of a new year on Sodor was always a busy time, even when the first Monday was a bank holiday. Passenger trains were full, and the big stations were busy with people wishing to go on countryside walks and trips to other parts of the island. The engines enjoyed being busy, but not so much in the bitter January cold. The temperatures were low in the morning, low at noon, and in the evening, with thick frost on the ground and rails. The bigger engines hated it most of all.
It's a nuisance!
The diesels found it harder to start under frigid conditions, and the other engines had to work harder on early mornings as a result. Already, Bill and Ben, who were on loan from their home at the China clay pits during winter, were fussing about the yard.
I'm having to pull the first morning trains. The sun hasn't even risen yet, and they expect me to start working. It's cruel.
It's undignified. Having an engine chatter his teeth and slipping on the frost. The passengers wouldn't stand for it. The diesel would be better at this time.
Henry is bone idle.
Henry tried to ignore them, but he didn't like what they said. He enjoyed his lay-ins, but he enjoyed being well worked even more. The hiking trains were interesting to him.
If those hikers need walking sticks, then why are they taking hikes?
His driver would laugh, and always give the same answer.
You could probably run on one piston, but we still give you two. It's easier, that's all.
By the time midday came about, it was still cold, and Henry was in the running shed building steam. The engine cleaners weren't working today. It was far too cold to mess around with buckets of water. Steam was slow to build, and he was still gaining pressure when Bill and Ben shunted him along to the platform.
You look like you've been hiking already, Henry. You're filthy.
Well, as long as I can run my train, my paintwork isn't important.
Times change, don't they, Bill?
Quite so, Ben. Once an engine attached to a...
Henry's train was a fast one. It didn't stop at all of the stations, and only once until it had climbed Gordon's Hill. It was just the thing to warm a cold engine back up, and he was looking forward to stretching his wheels and blowing away the cobwebs into the countryside.
It won't be an easy one, Henry. The rails don't look good.
Well, it's probably just as well everywhere closes on bank holidays. These passengers don't have a schedule.
They might not, but we do.
Don't push yourself, old boy.
His driver tried to catch it, but Henry's wheels slipped as soon as he started. The train groaned forward as Henry tried to get his grip, spurting great clouds of smoke until the sand hit his wheels. Steadily, but not nearly so quickly as he had liked, the train began to roll, and Henry made his way through, then out of the yard. By the time he passed Thomas's branch line, he had made up time wonderfully and was running at full pace as he had done countless times. Any steam engine loves brisk conditions when they get a good run-up, and it was that sort of weather that made Henry happy to be at work.
Let me know if you need a banker.
Not today, thank you.
And with a heave and an extra bit of steam, he began rattling up Gordon's Hill.
Steady, boys, steady! We're running early.
Henry was beginning to slow as the heavy bank holiday train held him down. His driver reached for the brake to see what the matter was, and the whistle to call for Ginty's help, but he wasn't fast enough.
It hurts! It hurts! What's happened?
What caused it, nobody is too sure. Some say it was Henry working too hard. Some say something hit him. Gordon said it was sabotage. Whatever the reason, something had broken, and with it, Henry's right side was out of order.
You've broken your eccentric rod, Henry. Your piston can't work properly without it.
Oh, that's all we need. We can't stay here. We'll block the line.
Don't worry, old boy. Ginty will help you up to the loop, but we'll have to remove that rod first. We've got time yet.
They informed the signalman, and some plate layers who were working nearby came to help the crew take away the heavy chunk of broken metal.
This is awful.
This is awful.
This is awful.
This is nothing.
Right, this is nothing. Yeah. Why don't you try going central?
What are we going to do? Shall we cancel the train?
No! We shan't! The others will call me idle!
Well, we could try it on one cylinder, but it'd be no small job. Perhaps to the next junction?
What would be the point? The next junction's the electric branch and they can't help. There's no overhead wires.
Well then, we'll finish the journey!
On one cylinder, across the island? Don't be daft.
I'm not being daft! I think we can do it. Edward has pulled a train with no rods at all before. And I once heard the Renaeus on the Skarloey Railway.
Alright, we'll try it.
The plate layers, crew, and guard got to removing the rest of Henry's damaged valve gear, bit by bit. By the end of it, Henry's right side was sore, cold, and felt very light. After this, they oiled Henry to make it easier, and, one by one, they slackened the couplings of the coaches behind him.
Will there be danger?
Oh no, sir. You might miss out on an hour of hiking, though.
The passengers leaned out of the windows to watch, as Henry's driver and fireman thanked the plate layers and climbed back into their cab.
No, Henry, if it gets too much, you need to tell us.
There's only a few hundred meters to the station. We'll see how we go.
We'll get there and past it.
took effort, but within just a few minutes, the train managed to rumble into the hilltop station, the engine in front flushed and uncomfortable. But the worst was yet to come. After the hilltop station and Gordon's Hill, there's a shorter but far steeper hill. It was infamous. The engines hated it, the crews hated it, and few wanted to take it with both cylinders, let alone on one. But by the way Henry pulled away, you'd think he was built for it. He soon crested over the final blow and began descending again, becoming short of breath, late and sore, but determined. The rest of the run was downhill, and Henry was sorry to have to stop at the junction. Meanwhile, signalmen across the main line were working to keep Henry's route clear. Henry felt awful. His face was red, his wheels felt like they were heaving, and he still felt strangely out of balance.
Well done, Henry! You showed them!
Thank you, James.
The passengers peering out of the windows carried on cheering until their voices hurt, but more soon took their place. When a group got out at the next station, they surrounded him and applauded, and gave him many thanks before walking up hills with their walking sticks into the countryside.
Hooray! Go, Henry! Come on, mate!
A diesel roared past Henry further down the line and beeped his support, but Henry barely noticed.
I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best.
At the works station, maintenance men were already waiting.
Stupid great engine. It's his own fault if he's gone and done himself a mischief. If I...
The maintenance men crowded around, inspecting Henry's remaining valve gear and helping to lubricate it.
We can take him off. Our diesels can take the train easily, and we'll have him repaired.
No, thank you.
Well, it'd be a shame not to finish.
You can do it, Henry!
Go ahead, Henry.
if you have a shunter to give us a push.
And it was arranged. To cheers, shouts, and the Scarlowy engine's encouragement, Henry was piloted out of the platform and began to pick up speed. This time, the shunting diesel stayed with the train for a mile or so, until he could no longer keep up. Henry couldn't try as hard. He was getting tired, and the guard worriedly looked at his watch as the minutes trickled away faster than the miles underneath them. Everybody was sure that, no matter how late, Henry would get to the station at the end of the line. The only one who was beginning to feel unsure was Henry. As they rumbled through the tunnels, his driver couldn't keep him slowing. The big green engine was just about to give up when he heard his crew talking.
I don't think he could do it. We've already broke regulation.
Bother regulation! The Fat Controller's given his blessing.
With an extra show of strength, the last town came into sight. The few remaining passengers swarmed from their train to join in the celebration of Henry's success. They were very late, but many became even later for want of shaking the driver and fireman's hands.
Nobody takes photographs like this when I'm well.
You're a hero, Henry. Few angels would even try what you just did.
I hear that everyone at home is singing your praises.
Gordon and James say you're idle, eh? Wait till they hear this.
By the time the commotion had ceased, it was already time for Henry to go back to the workstation for repairs. The crews and engines inside the works welcomed him in, congratulating him on such an incredible run.
I don't think we were fast enough for a run. If you ask me, it was more like a very difficult hike.
Right up the side of a mountain.
With no walking stick